28's pretty old for League of Legends.
For League of Legends, I'm ancient.
Yeah.
Because you're like, what, 34?
I'm gonna be 35 in 3 days.
Soon to be
Dusty
40.
bitch.
Dusty bitch.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Tower Dive. And as you can see, we are here with a bevy of special guests. I am not talking about Pan's ridiculous face. We have our friends in arms here for our 1 year anniversary show. Of course, with us, we have WisePoppaSmurf from the LoLA Podcast.
What's happening, man? Psyched to be here. Congratulations on your milestone, dude. That's
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
We
you,
tried.
thank you.
Well,
And
we tried
we-
a little bit. Not a lot.
And we have Amanda from
huge.
the
We got there
Analyst.
through attrition. It was good.
Let me get the other introductions
Sorry.
in.
I'm
We
sorry.
also have
Sorry.
Amanda from the Analyst Desk.
What's good? 1 year. I don't know how you guys made it this far.
I've watched our shows. I also can't answer that
Yeah.
question.
If we were on a network, we were for sure canceled.
We are one of those spring cancels, like halfway
Easy.
through. They signed us.
So, like, Heroes Were Born? You guys
Yes.
did Heroes Were Born podcasting?
Yes.
Got it.
But we
Yes,
wouldn't
that's-
even made it to the big finale. It
We would
would've
have only been. They would have canceled us after the pilot.
Yeah, right after that butterfly scene.
Oh, so you're like Firefly.
Oh.
Now they're more like
Hey,
the
man.
Greg the Bunny of podcasts.
That
I was gonna
cuts
say
deep.
if we were like
Greg the
Firefly.
Bunny had its own unique charm, but it just was not going to
I
translate.
was gonna say if we're Firefly, I look forward to our cult following years
Yeah.
after we're relevant.
Let's just stop it now if we're going to be that.
Right? Just
Good,
put,
it's
no,
good.
we'll just push that DVD right out and just reap the royalties, baby. Give me those royalties.
Then 7 years later, we'll make a movie.
Yeah, and oh no, are you gonna die?
Maybe. Who
No, wouldn't it
knows?
be Hooks?
I have to die?
Someone
Yeah.
has to die.
No wait,
Oh yeah,
I'm obviously Mal.
you clearly got like the
mm.
least life left to live of everybody here. So
Oh,
it's kind of
harsh.
take one for the team, man.
What'd you get for being the oldest?
oh, but doesn't that mean I'm like I'll see death before it comes because
No,
I've
because
lived
then
life.
you'll be like Shep. Then you'll just be Shep.
Harsh. This sucks. Apparently, I'm gonna die on this show.
Yeah, sorry,
By
buddy.
the way, everybody, I am
Sorry.
friends with Hooks. I
Spoiler.
promise.
Yes. Yes. So, yeah. So it's been a year, obviously, since we've been doing this. I don't know how we've gotten to the year. It's been an interesting year. We've looked at our shows. Yo, our first shows are bad.
Oh, man, so bad.
Everybody's first shows are.
It's real
It's
bad.
the pits. I don't know
Yeah,
why we
Dude,
kept
it's-
doing it.
Have you guys like? It is hilarious to go back and listen to your first stuff, and you're just like, God, it was so out of sync, and we had like no synergy, and everything was awful.
Mhm.
And then you listen now, and you're like, yeah, we finally got a little bit of synergy, and it's okay.
Well, like I said, when we started out, we were like, yeah, we're gonna be the voice of the every player, and then we just realized, like, after being on different social medias and seeing, the every player, yo, we hate the every player.
They suck.
They're mean and they're just heartless and they're just full of contempt. And then I realized I was just looking in the mirror, and then I just realized I had a lot of self-loathing issues happening there.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, and I had a crisis of conscience. And that brings us to where we are, 52-ish weeks later.
Ish. It's
Yeah.
very big ish.
It's a give or take.
52 to
few-
56, I think.
Maybe in there.
Somewhere in
Yeah,
that ballpark. They were holidays, okay? Bank holidays don't count.
we're less than 60.
52 business
you know,
weeks.
Yeah.
you really don't want to do like an anniversary special on like April 1st.
Yeah.
So you got to wait a little while.
Yeah. We had, we had to let it simmer. We had to
Yeah, logistics, dude.
let people think, ooh, what are they going to talk about today? Probably TSM, because people seem to think that we just talk about them and hate them.
Every time we have a TSM headline, we get a huge bump in views. So yeah, let's talk about TSM.
Yeah, some guy asked us. He goes, "If you're gonna, you'd stop putting TSM in the title of your shows." I go, "Well, if we're gonna talk about them, they're gonna be in the title of the show." Sorry, I mean, guy White Knight for TSM protecting them from.
You left off the or else at the end of his comment. like there are some grave repercussions if we say
he sent
TSM
you,
sucks
like, a
balls
picture with-
again.
Like,
Is it like a picture with a knife in his teeth or something? Like,
I'm just worried about getting random weird packages from people that I don't know. How did you get my address?
It's a glitter bomb. Don't worry about it.
yeah, sorry about that.
I was okay with it. Purple's my favorite color. It was the best glitter ever. So, you guys, it's awesome to have you here. Thank you for. I mean, I guess we're celebrating. I don't like having like party streamers or champagne or anything to hand out, but it's cool to have. Because
Fine, I have grape soda.
Oh, good.
All I get to celebrate.
I don't have grape soda, so.
Sorry.
Yeah. Doesn't do
Somebody
me
told me
as
we were
good.
bringing grape soda.
Thank you for sharing the delicious grape soda with me.
Refreshing.
So I mean, you guys are essentially, you're our contemporaries. You slightly more professional than us, maybe. Doing a little bit different. We respect what you guys do, which is why we don't try to do what you guys do. Because
I
would
feel
never
like you
do what
guys
I
are.
do.
Yeah, I feel like you guys are just about the same level of professionalism as we are.
Guys, yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
I think that's probably fair, but like different topic,
Yeah.
I think would be the dividing point, right? Where you guys talk like a lot about current events and things that are happening in league, and we try to just focus on, hey, this is how you get better.
Yeah, you guys break
Yeah.
down the game a lot more than
We're on the fun V. You're on the humdrum V. I think is what
right.
we're- Yeah.
I'll-
Our podcast is tedious and terrible. Thank you. For Appreciate it.
I'll tell you this. There's a reason why we don't go into breaking down the game is because, I'm not very good.
Yeah.
And he's only pretend good.
I'm also not very good. I just talk out of my ass most of the time.
So both of you are boosted animals. Got it.
Absolutely.
I wish.
No, hey man, I earned my gold star by pulling myself up my bootstraps.
You were unemployed.
See, that too.
You were
That too.
unemployed and just got to play.
I had a 3-month stint of unemployment, so that helped.
Captain Hooks just goes straight for the nuts
I
every
know.
time, man.
He cuts
Listen,
deep.
that's why I've
Oh
been.
yeah, you're good at league because you're a homeless piece of shit. Like, what? Wait, what?
You're just a blight on society, you scumbag.
All I can say
I'm
is
paying
worth
your
it.
disability so you can get to gold. Like what?
Reason why I don't take home more of my paycheck.
I think I can unironically say, thanks, Obama.
The first time.
Yeah.
You're the one.
A genuine thank you. Yeah, for putting me in gold. And then also for demoting me back to silver. Thanks, Obama.
Now we're back.
Back to the irony.
Back there.
Yeah.
So we got you guys here because number one, you probably know more about League of Legends than we do, and that's super helpful on a League of Legends podcast because
Someone has to.
someone has to. Yeah,
Right.
we need you guys to carry the facts because we sometimes get them wrong.
Oh my God, constantly.
I've noticed that in some episodes. I like listen to them like, man, I wish I could correct these guys right now.
You should totally correct
Just
us.
dude, if you see,
I think in your comments once I corrected you.
it wouldn't. We've done where I've listened to episodes and I've realized I went on like a 10-minute rant on something I was nowhere near the mark on, and I go, all right. Like we were talking even our last episode, we were talking about the playoffs and how I was like, yeah, G2 man, they took H2K to the mark. No, they didn't. They didn't play H2K at all. That was not H2K. That was Origin. I was like, I had to put in the write up about the episode. I realized I was wrong about who they played. I was super jacked up about Fnatic playing H2K, so yeah, I didn't see that one. I just
Oops.
kept going. Whoopsie.
That one's on us.
That's on me.
Yeah.
I'll wear that one. Or like that time we didn't know where Belgium was.
Yeah, there's that too.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I
fantastic.
enjoyed that one.
I'm glad.
That one I hit you guys up on Twitter.
That
Yeah.
was my favorite. That was my favorite one when I was just like, I mean, like you're like, oh, so Belgium's near Germany. I was like,
It's
I'll be
near
honest,
Germany.
I'll be honest, I don't.
In the way that everything in Europe is kind of near Germany.
Exactly.
It's a very small continent.
It's
It's
Who the hell knows where what is? Come on.
It's near those centrally located countries,
So kids that are still in school listening to this podcast, do not use anything we say on your geography
Yeah.
test.
Also, stay in school, guys.
Yeah, that's
Don't
you.
become esports pros. It's not worth it.
It's not
No.
worth it.
the 2-year career you may end up with isn't
You just wind up with a stack of broken dreams and a wicked case of carpal tunnel.
right, and probably getting made fun of on someone's podcast.
Yeah, someone's dumb podcast.
Someone's dumbass podcast, probably ours.
But it's okay, because then they'll make a bad comment about Brussels, and then you can move on with your life.
Exactly, and now we are full circle. So let's just get into kind of, I guess, what's happened more in the recently, because I'd love to get your guys' take on it, because I know what I think about things. So we're gonna let's start off with something super obvious. So TSM. Yes, we're starting off with TSM.
I love starting off with TSM.
I love it because, see, the haters get mad at me then.
Oh, dude, you should put it in the show title.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you guys do that or not, but if you did,
See?
you would make like 1 million hits like that.
Always thinking. That's why we bring you guys on here. So YellowStar, it's like a comically that he left TSM. It's like nobody saw that one coming.
I sure didn't.
I mean, so... to be completely honest, like, we predicted on my show that the chances of Svenskeren and YellowStar making it a whole split was probably pretty bad odds.
Oh yeah,
if anybody betted on that, like, the only way that worked out is if somehow that TSM roster just like rolled over NA, because when YellowStar left, Fnatic was partially one because money, and two because he was like, I don't want to build another team now that Reignover and Huni are leaving. So what's an org that's been to Worlds multiple times? It has also been to multiple international tournaments. Oh, wait, TSM. And then they got not even third.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, there's no way you could have, I mean, we said this on our show when it first happened. There's no way you could have gone in with saying, okay, we're going to pick, we got Double Lift, we've got Svenskeren, we already have Bjergsen, and now we got, Haunster here, and now we're going to bring YellowStar in, and now we're going to perfectly gel, and everyone's going to listen, and everyone's going to be on the same page, and we're going to win every game. No, that doesn't.
I think that was in their success flow chart.
Yeah, it was
on their dream board.
Yeah, right.
In fairness, Reginald did kind of learn the lesson. Like, he talks about it in his Drive documentary. If any of you watch the Drive series, it's actually pretty good. But Reginald says that, like, the biggest lesson he learned from this split was that you can't just, like, buy top-tier talent in every region and just hope it, like, meshes together and makes a team.
You want to know what's funny about that? It took him failing to figure that out, and I knew that long before that happened.
I was going to say, didn't everybody else know that like 2 seasons ago when Elements
it did work, though. In fairness, it did work the first time. He, like, bought Bjergsen. TSM looked really dominant, and then Glebe didn't do so well. And so they were like, Lustboy. Lustboy's a really good support. And, like, they turned the season around, beat Cloud9, happily ever after.
Here's the thing. It worked well in a different vacuum, though, because in that situation, you are plugging one player into 4 others. In this situation, you're building a team of 5 completely different individuals with different mindsets that are all like superstar ego.
Oh yeah. No, I totally get it. I think part of the problem also is that, like, YellowStar definitely was like top 3 free agent supports at the time, and like, he, like, definitely didn't think, like, Double Lift likes to smash lane. YellowStar likes to roam and win mid lane and, like, other lanes. Oh, yeah, this is totally going to work out.
Well, I think they also hoped that... I mean, I think YellowStar was going in saying, okay, they're bringing me in because there's no unified voice on this team. Bjergsen was the shot caller, the unwilling, I don't want to do this, but I have to because no one else can. And they're kind of like, okay, well, they're going to bring me in. I've been to Worlds like my whole entire career, so they're going to listen to me. And it just never seemed like they ever listened to anything he said.
Oh, yeah, no, it's definitely a problem.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you bring in a ton of ego. I mean, maybe the only person that listened to him was Haunster, but he was out in an island in top lane. Who cares?
I'll tell you this, though, and this is like a huge credit to what difference coaching staff can make. But when they brought in Weldon Green,
Oh yeah.
Weldon's
everything
not-
changed.
So I never really call Weldon a coach, and Weldon doesn't refer to himself so much as a coach as well. It's more about just like figuring out what the personality problem is and trying to
Well,
get.
sure. I was referring to him as like staff in the more general sense, like
Sure,
Life coach.
but
people you
TSM
bring
makes
in.
it really, TSM. I mean, this is probably the first smart move TSM has made staff-wise since hiring Loco Doco before everybody else hired a coach. TSM is notorious for making really terrible staff decisions as well, like kicking Loco Doco and Reginald becoming the head coach.
Yeah.
Well, TSM is very knee-jerk reaction on everything that they do. Like, they don't think of the long term. Like, okay,
Yeah.
they did like Reginald. You know, I respect the fact that he's put together a team every year that's been competitive. But Reginald literally can only see like 3 to 4 inches in front of his face. He does not look down the line far enough to be like, okay, this is gonna fix right now, and this is what we're gonna do. And then, like, you know, it doesn't work. Okay, well, we have to change it now. No, wait, just let things work. Man.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you don't put a bunch of ingredients in, put it in the oven, call it a souffle, take it out 10 seconds later, and go, the fuck, this shit sucks, and throw it away.
That's how everyone in League is, though. Everyone can only see
Yeah.
the season that's right in front of them right now.
In fairness, though, but that's partially because one, I think everybody to an extent is like very aware that like League is not forever.
No,
Like
sure.
League is definitely not going to be like StarCraft, where like you'll still be hearing about StarCraft tournaments years and years and years from now. I think the same is true. Like League is probably not going to be CS:GO, and so I think teams, in a sense, like they need the immediate response for like 2 reasons. One, you need to stay popular. If nobody's buying your merch, or talking about you on social media, you're just like done.
Sure.
2, you need to keep them sponsors. Like, funny story. So, how many of you remember the Letterman jacket that TSM had?
Oh, I remember.
I
Yeah,
remember
the black
that,
with the
yeah.
white sleeves.
So
Yeah.
they still
Yeah.
wear
Do you
that?
know why the Letterman jacket's gone? Because, and Double have asked this on one of his first streams because Leo was like on stream with him a lot. It was too expensive to constantly change the sponsor patches.
Oh
Well,
my
that
God.
was why. Who is it? Elements or when they?
Why didn't
Yeah.
they just do the Velcro?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Because you
It's
can't
like-
do that with a Letterman jacket.
No, with Leatherman jacket you can't because.
So, but here,
You
but,
could
so the
sew
funny
on
part
some
of
Velcro.
Yeah, hire a den mother and
See,
sew
yes.
sew on these Boy Scout
Seamstress.
patches.
you know, it's a funny thing, but at the same time, it like shows you just like how frequently sponsorship changes in esports.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't, especially in NA where there's a plethora of sponsors, unlike EU where sponsorship is regional based, you like need to stay sponsor savvy. And
That's
like a team that's not consistently finishing first is just not sponsor savvy. Look at CLG eventually hitting bankruptcy because they just were never performing.
That's also because Hotshot GG just runs this organization like if I put my daughter in charge of them.
In fairness, Matcom's been doing a pretty stellar job since taking over.
No, I know, and that was they needed somebody to take over because Hotshot doesn't know how to run a business really.
Also, could you imagine sitting in like a proposal meeting or like a sales meeting with them, like for 45 minutes? That'd be
Just
Yeah,
feed
that'd be
up-
tough.
yeah, his knees are up in
Yeah,
his
yeah.
chest. You're making a pitch to that guy.
No,
You can
Why,
feel real bad.
sponsors? Why?
that's what? That's a terrible idea. You know,
That's actually pretty good.
No, the
Thank you.
real talk though, I became a CLG fan almost exclusively because watching Hotshot stream, it was like looking in a mirror, and it kind of weirded me out. So-
It was there's one of those there was one of those pictures or videos that we saw, and I was literally like, dude, that's you.
Yeah, it was.
You-
It was.
Yeah. Why don't we ever?
I'm Hotshot.
Why don't we ever see the two of you in the same place? That's
It's a
why.
good point. It's a good point. I had to get my tinfoil hat back.
Is that what you guys are always dogging on TSM?
That's exactly why.
That's
In
it. I knew
fairness,
it.
but to get back to TSM, I do like the move that they've made with Biofrost, or Biofrost and X unknown candidates in Korea.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, going back to the drive thing, Reginald was like, maybe it might be best to actually try to like bring up talent and craft it. Because it works. It's been working with Hodser. Like Hodser's definitely been one of the shining stars of this TSM roster.
Absolutely.
Like,
Oh yeah.
of consistency, damage threat, kill participation. Like you go down the list, and like statistically, if I had to like pick a top laner to draft, sure I might want Darshawn and Impact, but if I can't get Darshawn or Impact, I think like my next pick, despite him not being on one of a higher ranking teams, I think I want Haunter.
Well, Haunter's one of those guys who his highs aren't going to be incredibly high, but his lows aren't going to be incredibly low. He's going to be, like you said, a model of consistency. And even from the beginning of the season to the end, you definitely saw upward, movement in his quality of his play. He was definitely, I think, I just personally, I think he was overwhelmed going into with this team when you look around. And it's like, okay, I've got Double Lift and YellowStar in bottom lane. I've got Bjergsen. I've got Svenskeren.
Well, I mean, the other thing is you need low econ players.
Sure, yeah.
And as much as everybody gave Dyrus a ton of shit for always getting ganked and dying, which may well be true, the guy literally did well-ish with nothing. Like, he had nothing. And they gave him
no, he was
because they
he was on
funneled
an island.
everything. Yeah, sure.
Well,
they funneled everything to Bjergsen. Then, and now they've got Bjergsen to feed and Double Lift to feed. And it's like you can't feed 3 guys. So you need a low econ guy up there.
No,
and that makes perfect sense. And you've also got Sven who, carries out of the jungle.
Oh, carries is a strong word for that, I think.
Used to carry out of the jungle.
What is he carrying
And then
out of
it
the jungle?
fails.
He's carrying his lunch into the jungle.
Like
is what he's
groceries?
Like kindling,
Whoa.
marshmallows,
Like let's
a bag of leaves.
to be honest, when you look at TSM, it looks like that. Especially current TSM, it looks like when you're building your fantasy draft team, and you're like, man, I need a really strong mid laner. Well, there went 7K of my salary through. And then it's like, man, I need a really good AD carry. And you're like, YOLO pick Double Lift. You're like, yeah, that seems great too. Well, there went like another 7K of my salary room. And then you're like, YellowStar. And then you're like, all right, there went 6K. And then you're like, Svenskaren's pretty good, right? Like, he used to be good. I mean, minus the old Ching Chong thing. We'll keep it.
Yeah.
I was
So
actually trying to
he's
make
like-
a joke about that on why he left the team, and I was like, no, I can't
Yeah.
get it done.
And then he got 5, and then so you're like, all right, I used 5K. And then you look
5.5K.
5,
There you
okay, 5.5K, and then you look at the amount of salary room you have left, and you're like,
I've got
I've got 2,000 left.
What can I get off
sir.
the dollar menu?
Yeah.
The thing about Sven is it was more than 5.5K. That was just the negotiated bonus, right? That's not even necessarily his salary. I think they just grossly overpaid with him. Grossly.
So I think that the Sven, so like you have to look at like the marketability of Sven coming out of SK Gaming, right? That's where he left from.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So like when he was leaving that SK Gaming roster, he was like the first Blood King. Like you can go back and watch like season 4, season 5. Like he just repeatedly just showed up out of the jungle and wrecked kids.
Right, because he was on such a better
Because the rest of his team was so
There
much
was just
better.
really good players around him, and he was. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not dogging him for being a bad player. He's just super when you put him on a team that's not going to necessarily carry as well as SK did at times. I mean, because that was an SK team that had Forgiven in the bot lane.
Yeah.
And I mean, who cares what the rest of they had? But I think Fox was their mid laner at the time, right? They had young Fox, that was his first season.
Young
He was
Fox.
that young Fox. They had him, and he was, he kind of came on out of nowhere. Who was their top laner?
I want to say Freddy 122.
Freddie.
I think it was Freddy. You're right. It was Freddy, and and then
Candy Panda and Inrated.
It would have been underrated. Candy Panda was right in the bench. at
well,
that point, 'cause it was
Candy Panda was
Forgiven.
replaced. That was Forgiven.
No, Forgiven got benched. And they brought Candy Panda back in.
Yeah, but that was when the team shit the bed. Then
Yeah, that was when
Right.
When
Yeah,
they
but I'm saying
broke
That was whenever
their-
they announced that like they hate their management and
Yeah.
the whole team's gonna die. And they're like, "We'll bring back Candy Panda." Like,
hey, Candy, what are you doing? I'm not doing anything. What do you mean? What am I doing? You guys.
I'm broke. You left me here.
No,
But
it's like Mr.
cold
Rallas,
outside.
right? Like Mr. Rallas spent a whole split out of the EU LCS, and everyone was like, "Man, I wonder if there are any great EU AD carries left." And Mr. Rallas is like sitting next to his phone, just like,
And
Guys,
then everyone's
I'm
like, "Hey,
here."
what about Tabs? I bet he's available." God damn
and,
it!
and then it's like, "And what about Steelback?" And he's like, "Motherfuckers, I
guys.
carried.
Was it? I
I
could see
carried
like
bad teams."
SK just like opened the front door and Candy Panda's like on the porch, huddled on a rug. He's like, I'm still here, guys.
He's
Do you
been
need
collecting
me?
their mail.
Or he's just like,
Can I come inside again?
like there's a knock on the door, they open the door. Candy Pane, what do you? Oh, I was just in the neighborhood. Anybody want to play League? I just wanted to play. I brought my computer with me. It's weird. I just was walking by, and I mean, hey, this is where SK still lives, I think.
Hey, I think somebody's sleeping on a pile of newspapers over here.
That's
weird.
So it's like
Let me clean that
double
up.
lift.
Yeah, exactly. Which when it makes me that makes me laugh because we talked about the whole Afro shade and shit. People are like, "Oh, what's Afro doing? Why is he?" It's like Double Lift did make a video where he threw away the CLG, jersey in the garbage can. Like,
Oh, and don't forget the first 48 hours of his stream was just like,
yeah,
fuck CLG, fuck George.
yeah.
And then everybody's like, and then when George threw shade when he did reflections with Thor, and everyone was like, man, Hotshot GG is so immature. It's like, nigga didn't say shit for months. Double Lift shit on
I
him
think
and
that's
his
the
friend.
first time we've ever been able to have the N-word on the show. I'm so excited.
I'm
That was
black.
anniversary.
It makes us so cool now.
One
No, but-
motherfuckers.
No, in seriousness, George
You
said
do need
nothing.
to clarify that you
for,
are black. It is an audio show.
I
Just
am,
so
I
people
am
know.
as black as the night sky can get sometimes.
There we go.
All right.
But
there we-
no, in all seriousness, everybody forgets that Double Lift's first 2 streams were literally fuck CLG, fuck George,
Oh, he was so
Through this
fucking
org.
butthurt.
fuck this, fuck that, and then everybody's like, man, George, you should say something. George, you should say something. George is like, I'm gonna take the high road. And then the one time
For the
George-
first
Well,
time in his
okay.
whole life.
Hold on. He didn't say, I'm going to take the high road. He said,
No, no,
I'm
no,
going to
no, no.
enjoy
If-
my Halloween. I don't know if I want to talk about this right now.
No. There are a lot of George tweets where he's just it's been I've been advised to just not say anything and just move on. And then he does the reflections episode, and he says he shits on Double Lift only a fraction of the stinking pile of dog shit that Double Lift has been throwing his way. And everybody's like, George is the most immature owner in League of Legends. It's like, what?
That still
Really?
might be a true statement. Not necessarily within
but
this
not for
context.
that-
Not for that reason.
Not given that context, but I mean, it's probably that comment does probably hold weight in the grand scheme of things.
In the grand scheme of things, but in that immediate moment, I was
No,
like,
no,
y'all
no.
people are sheep. Y'all are just some Double Lift dick riders.
Oh, dude, there's so much of that. But those are the
I mean,
same. Those are the same.
This is Reddit. This is the League
Oh, yeah.
community. It's
Yeah. Those are the
it's
same
all
TSM
knee-jerk
dick. Yeah, those are the same TSM dick riders that when you say, "Man, TSM looks like shit," then they fucking downvote you to hell, and they get all mad like, "No, you fucking just. It's because look, YellowStar sucks. He's such a bad player. Look, his fucking thresh mechanics blow." Really, this is a guy who like 2
But
months.
Worlds 3 times.
Yeah, two
Four
months
times.
ago. Yeah, 2 months ago when you signed him, you guys were everyone was fucking blowing their load all over their keyboards. TSM's gonna go undefeated forever. And then it's like, and then they blamed him. Motherfucker sitting in the bottom lane, just like I wish someone would listen to me. I feel like something.
Well, it's also he's sitting there like, man, I wish I could roam. If only Double Lift's laning phase didn't suck balls.
yeah,
Everyone's like, no, Double Lift is the king of the laning phase. It's like, no, Double Lift and Afro Moo were the kings of the laning phase. If you watch Double Lift's stream, now you can always be like, oh, well, maybe part of this is because it's stream and solo queues just for fun. But Double Lift's got some shitty laning phase mechanics. If you're not there to protect him.
Well, he's used to having someone there to protect him.
if there was a way in League of Legends to have a guy ride another guy, it would have been Double Lift on top of Afro.
Yeah,
Moo.
if Nunu
It,
could be played as 2 characters,
yeah.
that would be it.
Double Lift,
Yeah.
little guy, and he's the Yeti, and Afro Moo's the Yeti. But yeah,
Oh
Willump.
no. Willem.
There you go.
That's the Yeti's name.
Don't
Jesus,
you-
read
That
the
is the
lore,
Yeti's name.
goddammit.
don't you talk lore to me? Don't you talk lore
It's
to
the
me.
most important part of the game. God. Ugh.
The guy with
is coming
shitloads
from a
of
Nunu
figures
one-trick
behind him
puppet.
that's calling you out for being a nerd. By the way,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
well,
Nerd.
we have a special kind of relationship, mostly based on hypocrisy.
Yes,
right?
how it goes.
He runs a podcast. You run CLG.
Yeah.
You know,
I know.
it's all good.
It's
all
good.
good.
Listen, if we agreed with everything, people would think collusion between CLG and our podcast, and then,
Exactly.
few people would care,
Yeah.
and then
We
you
would
know,
get too famous.
I would totally take that sponsorship any day.
Oh, well, there was.
I'll
I
get
think
the merch. I'll shave my beard into a C or something. I don't care.
that's what we said. We were like, oh, what happens if TSM was like, hey, we want you guys to work with us, and you're gonna pay? I'm like, yes, I will absolutely accept that.
Hey, don't listen to the show though.
Yeah.
Don't go back.
You might want to skip those first 52 episodes.
The first 52 episodes weren't that good.
We
You
were
guys
just
like the
we
next
were
52.
we were learning. We were just saying shit.
Our mics.
Next thing
we
you know,
thought they were
Hooks has
broken,
a
so
next thing you know,
we were
Hooks has a
recording.
nice TSM tattoo on his forearm.
Right? I'm gonna wear my TSM jersey with TSM hooks on the back. For funsies, I don't even know if I had said this actually on our podcast, but remember when TSM was hiring like a coach?
Oh yeah.
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 I had actually applied for that just for funsies because I actually used to coach baseball and they were looking for like sports coaches. I never heard back from them. I was like, maybe they listen to the podcast.
Yeah, that's what did you.
I was like, could you imagine? No, as far as
That's
qualifications, I mean, I definitely could have. But could you imagine if they called me up? Hey, we really like what you got here. We would like to bring you in. I'm like, oh my god. I'd have
We were
to.
looking for somebody.
Could you
with
imagine if you
baseball
got like if
experience.
you got selected? I think I would die.
It'd be the
Without
best.
announcing TSM Captain Hooks, I'd be like,
Yeah, right.
oh, these idiots.
I'd have to swallow my vomit every time I said my name. Hey, what's up, TSM Captain Hooks? You're.
It'd be
You're
amazing.
just crying. You're just sobbing to yourself.
Just-
Like you're getting your paycheck and you're like,
But I'm drying my tears with my money.
You're like wiping the
Yeah.
spit off your lips with like $100
Yeah,
bills.
exactly.
Like, oh god.
This
Vomit
TSM
is
money
just
just
awful.
it dries my eyes so well, though.
I come up, I'm like, how's it feel to be a filthy member of Team Solo Man? You're like,
Pretty good.
pretty good, pretty good.
Suck-
Let me go count all the money you don't have.
It sucked that first week, but I got over it.
I bet they.
I just got this Scrooge McDuck swimming pool out in my backyard with gold coins put in it. It's pretty sweet.
No diving though.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. I was like, man, as a kid, I was like, oh man, that must be sweet. I can't wait to be rich so I can do shit like that. And then I felt how hard a quarter was, and I was like,
Also, I mean, like, I don't
Okay. I thought you meant you actually dove into a
no,
pile
no,
of
no, no,
coins.
no.
Yeah. Also,
I was
how
like,
did
that
you have
was
that
the-
many
That's
quarters?
the hard way. Yeah, I was like, man.
Also, I mean,
No.
I don't know where all those coins have been. He's spitting them out of his mouth, dude. That's a great way to get foot and mouth disease. No, not for me.
Now, if you could make a pool filled with like $100 bills, I think that's safe to dive into.
Except it's all gonna be laced
it?
with cocaine and stripper panties. So I don't know.
And
Money
Captain Hook's
is
pool?
dirty stuff.
I'm still okay with this.
I have never actually had somebody hand me a bill out of a register and it had stripper panties stuck to them.
Oh,
It's not
you-
happening.
I do only have like
You're
like
going to the
I've
wrong
been-
bodegas.
I
What is
have been
this?
paid with bra money, and that always feels great.
Blah.
So we were talking about like League of Legends or something.
This
Were we?
This is a common occurrence on
I don't
top. If we go off the rails on occasion.
Something
So
about
what's our
something
next
something
topic?
TSM. Something.
Next topic is obviously coke stained $100 bills and stripper panties.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. More.
Oh, then seamless transition.
We're keeping in the wheelhouse.
You guys are way more pro than you let
Yeah.
on
It's
earlier.
all scripted. We actually rehearsed this 3 times before you guys got here.
Yeah.
Got it.
What
good.
you guys don't even realize is what you're saying we've actually written. We've written.
Oh.
So
Oh, it's like the LCS script, right? Got it.
thanks,
Just like the LCS script.
thanks for sticking to the script, guys. Okay, so let's get less from a team standpoint and more of just a fun community thing, because I don't want to spend too much time on this specific thing, but this is just one that I kind of laughed about a little bit, and I think, Pan, you know where I'm going to go with
I
this.
really have no idea.
Good. So, I don't know how much you guys saw of him,
Tyler won.
but yes!
Oh,
Yes.
right.
Tyler 1 got
Can I tell?
the big
Ah.
ban hammer.
Can I tell you that all the stream VODs that people link on YouTube of like Tyler 1 versus Freak,
Mhm.
Tyler 1 versus I'm a Cutie Pie, I don't know how I get this lucky, but I get to watch these streams from their perspective. Like I got to watch Freak stream of Tyler 1. I got to watch that I'm a Cutie Pie game where Antibot just kept killing Tyler 1,
Oh, that was awesome.
and watching Tyler 1 just type the most wonderful, delicious, saltiest things I've ever seen in a chat. Oh, his band was delicious.
He's just and listen, the community's to blame for guys like this, because you have a guy just, kind of scumbagging it up in the, in games, just being, as dick as he can be, I guess, is the best way. And 25,000 people are watching him.
That's
Yeah, I
insane.
mean,
The dude was the Jerry Springer of Twitch. Like that's basically what it was.
Jerry Springer was the mayor of Cincinnati, man.
Before he told people that they were actually dating a man. I mean, like, it's a little bit different. So, I mean, like, by the way, one of my friends linked me a reaction video. It was Jerry Springer, so I have to bring it up. But on this show, like, this guy goes on, and he's like, yeah, I think I'm going to meet this girl I met on MySpace. It's going to be really cool. Yeah, she's a hot redhead, blah, 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 blah. Describes her. He's like, yeah, I think I'm in love with her. I want to date her. I want her to be my girlfriend. And they're like, all right, that's awesome. Congratulations. He's like holding flowers.
Oh,
Like wearing
Oh,
doctors.
he got that
And he's
tall
like-
man some flowers.
Yeah, he's ready to go. And then this clearly a dude kind of walks on the stage and it's like, yeah, Jerry, I'm a man. I got to tell him today I'm a man.
I catfished the fuck out of him.
Oh, this
And-
was before
and I mean,
catfish was a thing.
I was like, yeah, this is pre-catfish era. And so the dude walks out and he's like, hey, I just, he doesn't see it because he's seen pictures of her before, or I don't know what the pronoun would be there. But regardless, he's seen pictures and he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. He's like, hey, I just want you to know we've talked for a long time and I want you to be my girlfriend. And the guy's like, I'm a man. Like immediately, just deadpan, I'm a man. And then the guy looks at it and he just looks confused and he looks hurt.
Like
And
the
then-
man?
yeah,
and
like
he
you're
just
like
kinda goes-
yeah, you're the man.
Yeah.
Like I'm the
He's
bomb,
kinda-
you're the man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just kind of goes, fuck it, I'll do anything once. And then they
See?
just start making out.
That's
and
true
I'm like,
love.
best reaction clip ever. Like,
you go.
all right, well done,
Okay.
well played.
That's true
But anyway, so Tyler won. I don't know how that.
I love it.
transition
I love
starts,
it.
but that's what we just did.
I love where
So-
you're at.
Tyler won. I was watching some stuff on this guy, and I'm like, I honest to God just hate what he's doing to the community because it's like, it's glorifying behavior that we should all just cut out of our own gameplay to get better on a base level.
Sure.
Because like pissing off your team actually causes you to lose. So like, why are we doing
really?
that? Yeah, go figure. Like whenever you throw
Holy
salt,
shit!
I read that in the
That's
pregame. I read that in the pregame tips.
It's a very helpful
yeah,
tip.
yeah. Don't be a dickhead,
Yeah.
comma, riot 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
I feel like you're just making shit up right now.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, that's stats, man.
It's actually
like
an
in the
Abraham
Bible.
Lincoln quote.
Yeah, it's in the Bible.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's totally
Oh.
legit.
Use
Wait,
the
Abraham
force.
Lincoln's in the Bible?
He
Use
is.
Yeah.
the force, Harry Dumbledore.
Oh,
Third Testament.
The thing
Anyway,
that,
I'm
that
learning so much today about U.S. history.
yeah, write
Yeah,
all this
it's-
down. It's really
it's-
there's gonna be a test
Accurate.
later.
Okay, we're gonna have this audio recorded. Just keep that in pocket.
Yeah.
You need it,
And
pull it out.
also, Belgium is in the Bible, and that's why you couldn't find it on a map.
That's exactly right. Thank you.
Because like us,
Now it's
Ow.
New Belgium.
like us, you were
Belgium.
looking. You were looking in Germany, and it's
Yeah,
not
there
in
you go.
Germany.
It's not
Like
there.
a
It's-
jerk.
Yeah,
And
like
so like, I don't
But,
want to
okay,
defend
so
Tyler one.
Just to finish my thought real quick, and then I'll let you have at, because like I took more shit on like Tyler One on Twitter because I was like, yeah, I think it's a good ban. I know that they haven't chosen to ban other people who are like at or near this guy's level, right? But I mean, realistically, the way I kind of look at it, the WisePoppaSmurf scale of whether you should be indefinitely banned is like, would I rather play a game of solo queue with you or have like a hot coffee enema? And if I lean to hot coffee enema, then I'm probably hoping you get
If-
permit.
if you're weighing your options, going.
Yeah, like, this is gonna be bad, but I think I may be able to,
But for how long?
grit down
I mean,
and bite a
you know,
stick.
yeah.
But it's gonna be hard to get that LP back. I don't know, man. And there you go. That's kind of
So-
my scale.
It's fair scale.
So my only issue, and I know this is gonna sound like the Reddit hive mind a bit, but there's some credence to it. Is that you see all these Reddit posts all the time about like, here's proof that this guy just sits and flames games and like he gets into he gets to his promos, and then he does everything he can to like get back into plat, or like get back into silver, or get back into bronze, or something like you'll see these Reddit threads once in a while of like, here's proof that this guy's a dedicated troll. Nothing ever happens to them. But then like you got one guy who like trolls Freak, like Medios and Doublelift talk about all of the top league streamers are talking shit about him, and he gets banned.
Oh, well, listen, his like visibility definitely was the worst thing for him. Being a gigantic troll in front of 25,000 people on the reg, doing it to Riot employees, doing it to professional players.
No. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve.
No, I know what you're saying.
To get banned.
Why are other people not getting banned? I think is what
it's like it's just like I said, there are times where like these posts about this person's a dedicated troll gets to like #1 on the subreddit, upvoted like 5,000 times, 97% upvoted, 4K comments, and no writer pops in and goes, maybe we should look into this guy. Like, even if it was just like somebody from player support that was like, this is interesting, this guy slipped through the tribunal, let's go look into this guy's players logs. Like, you just like nothing. And it's like, I understand that like Tyler won, yes, the visibility, the streamer aspect, but it's like, it definitely leaves a bad taste in a fan's mouth when like you see these type of things all the time and nothing happens.
Oh yeah.
But just because this guy's a streamer, like, permabanned.
Well, I mean, I think like you gotta look at it like
they're never gonna find all of his accounts, so like he's not actually permabanned.
No. He just can't.
No, I mean,
he just can't stream anymore. That's basically And the thing is, what hurts is that takes the stream revenue. I mean, he was making.
Oh, he's streaming Overwatch now.
Oh, great.
Well, good. I'm glad he's able to transition into another career.
Fabulous.
Fantastic.
Good on.
But oh no, man, that game we were all looking forward to playing after this podcast. Maybe we can get Tyler 1, guys.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, so I mean, my thought on it is like, I don't know who everybody is that's standing with a sign at the funeral of a soldier, but I know who Fred Phelps is. You know what I mean? And yeah, okay, they're gonna ban Fred Phelps, but like the anonymous sign holder is just as bad from a what is he doing and is it wrong standpoint, but like the notoriety level.
The problem though, here's the problem, and this will always happen though with guys like this, is that with a guy like Tyler 1, you're going to ban him, and yeah, you know what? Maybe you'll never really hear from him again, and his 15 minutes of fame is going to go to ruin another community somewhere. But you're going to have his stupid jackass copycats now for the next few months.
Who are going to think that they can also get Twitch famous by just being a dedicated high elo troll.
God, I wish it was that easy.
And yeah, right? And that's the thing is
we've been making a podcast doing this for nearly 2 years, and nobody's even batted an eye.
Yeah.
It was like,
apparently,
come on.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not nice. You'd think that would have gotten me something, you'd think I could have made a career out of this. I'm mean. I make fun of people. I've been called the fat angry one.
You are the fat angry one.
Wait, you've been called the fat angry one?
I was called the fat angry one on our podcast.
I'm the bearded hobo.
You're the bearded hobo.
Wait, Captain Hooks, you're fat?
Apparently.
Did you have a guest on that was like...
To be fair, in that episode, he was sitting way back and kind of doing a lot of this.
I don't ever do that.
You get all worked up and you hold all your tension in your shoulders. And you get all like this.
But yeah, I was called the fat angry one. Which, listen, I'll wear the angry one. I will wear that with pride. Damn it, with pride. But the fat part kind of hurt a little bit.
It stings.
That one, anonymously called fat on the internet, kind of hurt a little bit.
I did straight up look like a hobo in that episode, though.
As long as you say it with affection, then I will allow it. Listen, I'm not walking around saying I'm a waif model here. All right.
I would say like eat a Snickers and it'll put you in a better mood, but that may not help the weight problem.
We don't know. Right? The Snickers is not going to do me any favors, but thank you.
So I think
I feel better and I feel worse.
Came on this episode to roast Hooks.
Right?
I don't think we're here to celebrate the year more so than roast Hooks.
That's what I need, a good roasting.
I think it is. Yeah, really
Ryan
knock it down a peg.
All of the roasting bullets. So in further segments, I'm gonna have to turn more to your direction.
That's fine, by all means. Listen, I have a thick skin. I don't. Yeah, if someone wants to turn, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about being roasted. I have a razor sharp wit, and my timing is dead on. So,
Oh,
that being said, for those, I'm the guy who, if I was sitting on the throne and the roasting was happening, I'd snap right back at you, and then the crowd be like, "Ooh!" or not.
Also, he talks louder than anybody else in the room. So
I'm
that doesn't
Italian.
hurt
I'm
either.
Italian.
Yeah.
I have an excuse. So
it's okay.
it comes with the territory.
All right, so Tyler, are we done with this Jackrabbit?
Oh, I'm done with this guy.
Well, so done. Didn't you prepare a piece?
I would
us?
like to actually record that on a separate thing, because
Okay.
we're gonna add another thing. I have written a eulogy for Tyler 1. I've written a eulogy for him.
I
I
gotcha.
can't wait to listen to this.
So
It's gonna be pointed and delicious.
later in the episode, we'll have a few words from Cats and Hooks regarding Tyler 1.
Regarding Tyler 1, I'll put
Yeah.
my I'll put my habit. Oh, no, that's the nun thing. I'm not gonna put that on.
Yeah, don't put a. Well, you could put a habit on.
I guess whatever. I'll put a habit
But
on.
if you
Should
do,
it.
if
It
you
would actually
do,
probably get you in the right frame of mind.
Maybe I'll dress up like a nun.
Well, no,
just-
it was like in that what was that? Oh my God, super famous movie, Bull Durham.
I was
He makes the
thinking
kid
Sister
wear
Act.
panties so he doesn't forget what he's,
That's
he
true.
doesn't focus too hard on throwing the baseball.
That's true.
That may be good for your eulogy. You know?
Getting
I don't
really get into.
I don't know if that's how that works.
Really get into character.
I'm pretty sure wearing panties makes you an excellent podcaster. I think that's just the way
Yeah.
the mechanics are.
That's naturally what's the problem. I see where I have
Yeah,
gone.
we haven't
wrong.
been wearing panties this whole time.
We haven't.
Yeah, I got 3 pairs on right now.
Next time on Tower Dive.
Next level.
Next time on Tower Dive, wearing panties. That's the name of the episode.
Exactly. The entire episode is about how uncomfortable you are.
You see
Like-
shifting on in the seat. What's going on here, man? I've had like a 3-hour wedgie.
My balls are split in half right now. This is the worst.
Wow, a wedgie. Yeah, but I mean in the front, so it's like a Melvin.
Well, I brought like the string one. Was
Yeah.
that a bad call? Was it a bad call?
Why are you wearing a thong? I don't know. It looked good. It was my color. I don't know.
I didn't want to have
I
lines.
fancy
I
myself.
didn't want
Yeah,
to have
I didn't-
panty lines.
Yeah, I want to have panty lines. Weird. I was wondering why everyone was giving me looks when I dropped my keys.
Next topic.
Whale tail.
Okay, where do we want to go? Well, actually, this is kind of a big deal. I guess MSI is actually.
Yeah, I hear
it's
that's
happening.
happening soon.
MSI is upon us.
Oh man, something that's in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, this is. I'm gonna say this is right here in your bag. So MSI is happening, and we here at Tower Dive have always kind of had a kind of a love-hate relationship with these. I don't know if we call them show matches, but with these little specials that they do, because I feel like they put too much emphasis on the LCS. And I know Turtle just made a comment about this, that he wishes there were more tournaments, which is kind of funny coming from a guy who played League of Legends post when there were actually tournaments. But I mean,
In
wish.
fairness, his TSM went to a bunch of IEMs,
Yeah, I guess.
like as many as like you can possibly go to, but
Yeah.
like that TSM incarnation had gone to a decent number of IEMs, so I can understand where his perspective of like
Sure.
more
And I-
tournaments.
I wish there were more of that. I know. I mean, Penn, and he feels the same. Is that we even broke down like a way that you could do more of it,
Did we?
because we did. It was
Okay.
actually very good.
I believe you.
We did a good job with it.
Great.
You were very interesting.
Oh, great. That's good to know.
It's just I
It's
feel
probably
like
your best episode.
by
Yeah,
far your
yeah.
finest work.
It's going on the resume.
Right there it is, right in crayon. But it's just I feel like that there's not enough exposure to international play for EU and NA, and I think that affects our standings in Worlds and why kind of we always show up sort of half-cocked and unimpressive. But anyway, MSI is
So where do you want me to start on that?
anything
You
you
want me
want.
to start with MSI or your later point?
No. You could jump in on MSI. I was just kind of giving this is just
Well,
my opinion of
and
general stuff.
I would really like to hear your opinion on how NA can go to EU full cock.
Okay, so let me first start with MSI. Like I'll hit everything that everybody wants to hear.
Love it.
So MSI, this year MSI is less of a show match only because it affects seeding at Worlds.
Yeah, they did.
And
They
that's
did give it.
really, really important.
I agree.
So Korea's just gonna have very good seeding at Worlds this year. They were gonna have good seeding at Worlds anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like jokes aside, we have at SK Telecom that after IEM switched out Bengi for their substitute sort of farm jungler Blank, and Blank played really well at IEM, so SKT was like, you know what? He played really good at IEM. Bengi sucking monster dick right now. Bengi, you're on the bench. We'll probably bring you back when the meta looks like it's in your favor again, but right now Blank. And Blank hit the ground running, played SKT surged in the second half of the LCK, and somehow Rox Tigers shit the bed, and SKT won LCK. Do I think that SKT deserves to be there? But you know what? They're there, and they have probably the most experience out of any Korean side in international tournaments, both between Faker, coaching staff. So sure, fine, whatever. Number one team at MSI, SKT. Then everything gets a little tricky. Smart Money is on. It depends on who you listen to. Like Fion just did his power rankings for ESPN, where he puts Flash Wolves at number 2. Everyone else and their mother puts G2. It depends on how much you buy into the LMS hype right now, where AHQ and Flash Wolves were playing like perfect League of Legends, like on a macro level, look like a Korean side in the LMS, and LMS has been a rising region as each international tournament happens. Like they looked really good at Season 4 Worlds, then they looked really good at MSI, then they were taking games off of everybody at Season 5 Worlds. So there's a strong case that that the LMS is like not this like joke region anymore.
It seems like everyone writes off the Flash Wolves until an international tournament, and they're like, "Oh right, they're still pretty good."
And they have good. And they have you look at their roster, and they have a good roster.
So like Maple's probably gonna shit on like 70% of the mids in the tournament. NL is definitely a weak point, but like whatever. Karsa is like debatably top 3 jungler.
That's what I'm saying. Karsa's insane.
And then Sword Art is probably like the most underappreciated support in the history of League of Legends. So I'm gonna put G2 second. I just think that like raw power, jungle mid synergy, macro play, they're just slightly above Flash Wolves. Then
do you think that's because Ocelot makes everybody's life better?
No.
It's the
I don't know if that's like that's the meme of Sky Williams and LS, right?
Yeah, right. It was an older reference. That's all right.
It's okay. It checks out.
So to be completely serious, like let's break down the G2 roster real quick before I move on to a different team. Past G2 and Flash Wolves. Kikis. Nobody expected Kikis to be a good top laner because he was such a Gouda jungler. But like
that's the best way I've ever heard it described.
You've never heard of that?
Leviathan
Too. Leviathan was like, Yule brings out the fine Gouda, the cheese. Everybody was like, oh, he's the Gouda jungler, has the Udyr, the Twisted Fate, just like all this stuff you're never going to expect. I think he even played Shaco once. Everyone's like, oh yeah, they just picked Kikis because I guess they needed somebody. Turns out, Kikis is like, surprise, when Nautilus is a top laner, and Nautilus used to be a jungler, and he gets to play Zac top, and Poppy was stupid and does all the things a good jungler does.
Poppy was dumb.
And like people were like, oh man, I wonder if he can play top lane, and then he just shits on most of the top laners in EU. You're like, wow, surprise, Kikis, really good. Turns out Kikis is pretty good at playing tanks. Oh wait, he did really well in the tank jungle meta. Surprise. To no one, unless you're retarded. Trick, probably like really good jungler, but it's not so much that Trick is a great jungler, it's what Trick brings to the top and the mid lane. And then you've got Perks, who like shit talks like Dardoch, but actually wins series. So
yeah, it was
feels so good.
Shots fired.
But like, let's be real, like Perks like shit talks all day and then Goomba stomps people, so like deserved, right? And then you've got Emperor, not like very good in the laning phase, but like I'll pick him for team fights.
Dude,
He won me all of my
kills.
fantasy drafts.
Dude gets kills.
All my fantasy
Period.
drafts. And then Hybrid's pretty good too.
Hey,
So,
hybrid was what kept me from kept me in our fantasy league. I almost won pretty much because of Hybrid.
Perks was the only reason that I didn't get last place.
Yes.
Hybrid's just like I don't want to call him serviceable because I think that's underselling him, but he's serviceable in my opinion.
I think he's very underrated actually. I think he's a very
team.
They have good synergy.
It's wicked because like
they're very good at
from
skirmishing.
the challenger scene, and everybody had fairly low expectations because they didn't blow away the challenger scene, as I recall.
No, they were good.
I mean, you're the expert. You tell me if I'm wrong, but they were like a good challenger team.
I mean, but in the same sense, there are other.
I mean, what I'm saying is they were no Cloud9, I guess.
Yeah,
like Cloud9.
So part of the problems with part of the problems of people expecting another Cloud9 or Orihen scenario is you have to look at them contextually in their time. Cloud9 was the only team that practiced pick ban, memorized pick ban, was prepared for it at every game, and so that helped them. Like that level of preparation was like much more than any challenger team was putting forward at the time. And so that's why and not only any challenger team, any LCS team. Like if you ask any pro from season 3 why Cloud9 just like ran through the LCS, it's because they like we tried to remember our pick ban and Lemon had a notebook.
I was gonna say it's because of Lemon's notebook.
And then that's where the Lemon notebook meme came from, because a lot of players said in the pre and post game interviews, we like, especially in start of season 4, like when like the LCS broadcast would be like, so why do you think Cloud9 was so dominant? And literally every team was like, we tried to remember our pick ban off the top of our heads, and Lemon Nation had it all written down. That's why and then if you noticed, everybody had a notebook season 4. Like every team had some type of piece of paper or something, and then coaching got introduced in season 5. So that's Cloud9. Orihen is, let's see, former pro. Oh wait, those first 3 former pros all went to Worlds.
Yeah, and then like the kid
and
from
then
Rookie
played
of
in
the Year.
Challenger. Like come on. So I hate the fucking like, oh, they're not a Cloud9 and they weren't a fucking Orihen. Of course they weren't a fucking Orihen or a Cloud9. Like contextually, that's just never going to happen again. The only time that would have ever happened again would be like something like LMQ or the Samsung Red team that was supposed to happen in EU, where it was supposed to be like Ryu, Mad Life.
I remember that.
There was supposed to be like this really sick Samsung team of like people who just like wanted to move off of their rosters.
Yeah, like this Korean mega team.
Yeah, they basically went to pull an LMQ. Like Korea saw what LMQ did, and they were like, "Holy shit, we can just do that in EU."
We can in league.
and then Riot goes, "Oh fuck no more LMQs. You have to have 2 regional players."
Which is this fucking lamest bullshit anyway. I know why.
I get the fear.
I know why they do it. Yeah, because they're afraid that they're going to import all these people to all these other countries, and it's just Korea versus Korea versus Korea.
It would though.
Yeah,
I agree. And you want to know what? If then that would force the other regions to get better.
No, that's what people said about StarCraft, and then everyone stopped watching StarCraft.
But in StarCraft, you have 100 teams playing. It's still only 100 people.
So it's still all
Koreans. But I'm just saying,
they have more than 100 Koreans in the country, right?
Yeah. So
it's a pretty big country for people.
So moving past G2, would you guys like me to talk about CLG or Renegade or Royal Never Give Up?
Renegades. Oh,
Renegade. Surprise!
I think we know enough about CLG. Let's go. Let's do Royal.
Yeah,
sure.
Let's go Royal.
So Royal. So unfortunately,
just one second.
EDG...
This is fascinating having someone that actually knows their shit on this podcast.
I'm sorry.
This is amazing. This has never happened before. I just wanted to jump in and compliment you on your analysis. It's been great.
Yeah, you're doing really good.
So here's the trick.
Write everything down in a notebook.
No, yeah. But no. In all seriousness, I watch enough VODs so that I can ask informed questions to my guests, and then I then listen to my guests, and then I just absorb everything they say. Like I just had Crumbs, Fruskern, and Obscurica on a podcast. I think my brain just swelled a little bit. It'll all go away in the morning, and I'll be dumb as nails again. But right now, I'm like a fucking Rain Man.
Great.
So RNG, Royal Never Give Up. Unfortunately, we're not going to see EDG at this MSI. As Fruskern put it, Royal Never Give Up played sort of like a 9 to EDG 7. So in a similar sense of like how a lot of people feel about Korea, that the best team isn't actually going to MSI, and you know people say that a lot about NA too. The truth can also be said for Royal, and it's also partially true for LMS. A lot of people thought AHQ would be the team to be going, and then AHQ kind of shit the bed against Flash Wolves. So we're getting a bunch of teams that like their respective regions are like, hey, we kind of wish this other team was going. But at the same time, Royal didn't really play very well at their IM performance. But for those of you who don't know, Royal is a team of 3 rookies and 2 Korean, like 2 former, well, not former, but like former LCK finalists. Like it's Looper and
Mata,
and then 3 rookies.
Mm-hmm.
And those 3 rookies, like
Rookies.
MLXG, for those of you who don't know, replaced Insect. Now, all of you know who Insect is. So the fact that Insect got replaced by a rookie probably should tell you something. Right? Like, and then you've got Xiaohu, who's just like a demon. Like, just... Ugh. Like, very, like a scary...
I've had my game referred to as that.
Yeah, and then you've got the bot lane. It's a Chinese bot lane. It's always going to be very strong. Decision making, not their strong suit. The strong hope that both Fruskern said and that sort of I echo is that I hope that China plays Chinese League of Legends and doesn't try to mimic another region. It's very well documented, and this is less about the sandbagging meme and more about just like the truth of the matter, that a lot of the Chinese teams got tired of losing to Korea at Worlds, and so they thought maybe at Worlds they'll try to play a more Korean style of League of Legends, you know, try to play this very strong macro game, and that's never been China's strong suit. China's known for going, this is a 50-50 team fight, we're going to fight you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not something other regions do. Other regions are like, we're not going to team fight right now because it's 60-40.
Yeah,
we don't want to team fight you.
Yeah, China's always been brute force.
Well, it's not so much brute force, is that they have a lot of faith in their mechanics and their ability to work as a team and skirmishes. So what you'll have, especially in Korea, like if you've ever watched Korean League of Legends, nothing happens for the first 20 minutes. That's where you get the famous like tweets about like Monty and Doa's casting,
right?
Because they have to like fill the air of this perfect macro game that's happening for 20 minutes where no one's dying unless somebody made a rotational error, and it's boring as fuck. Now, that's because nobody wants to lose an advantage. Like, that's just a standard thing in League of Legends. And so nobody will take a fight unless it's like 90-10. In China...
Okay, but real quick, the China thing, it seems to me like China is really, like as you said, they're really good at mechanical execution. They're really good at picking their skirmishes. But then they go to Worlds and they try to do something completely different.
Well, that's
to
what
me,
happened
that's
in Season
like...
5.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying to me, that's like, I'm really good at Kung Fu. So I'm going to fight this guy who's really good at Jiu-Jitsu with Jiu-Jitsu.
And that was the problem.
Never tried it before, but hey, can't be as hard as Kung Fu, right? Then I get my ass kicked.
Okay, but let's look at this. Let's look at this from like a traditional sports mindset.
Yeah, like when Rocky decided to box right-handed, it's just like that. You gotta tie up your left hand.
Funny thing about that actually happened in real life.
See, real sports.
A guy,
I know real sports, you guys.
Roy Jones Jr. was fighting a lefty, and he switched southpaw midway through the fight, knocked the guy out. That's neither here nor there. Please go on.
So here's the thing.
My favorite was when Little Mac didn't use his star punch to beat King Hippo.
You can't. You have to use your star punch to beat King Hippo. Everybody knows that.
It opens mouth real big. Belly punch, belly punch, belly punch. That's it. Game on. Anyway, go ahead.
So the issue is
Wait,
that,
one more thing. I'm sorry.
No.
Go ahead.
when you lose a lot, when you watch your region consistently become a finalist and lose to stronger macro play, what do you think the lesson you learn is? Right?
You've become America. Oh, I mean,
I should go to NA.
You want to try to learn what it is that made you lose. It happens when you think about it structurally. The first time you get really good at tic-tac-toe is when you learn that you need to take the center space. Until then, you lose a lot of tic-tac-toe games, or you just tie a lot. That's probably a really terrible analogy. This is why
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever won.
I think we've
tic-tac-toe
all
using
seen
center
war
space.
games.
Yes.
Yeah, but no. So the thing is you try to learn, you try to fill in the blanks of your playstyle. The blank of the Chinese playstyle has always been macro play. Now, I think China has learned the reverse lesson now, which is, maybe we should just keep playing Chinese League of Legends because at least that gets us to the finals.
Yeah, that's good advice.
So that's the hope. I mean, it worked at MSI last year as well. Granted, with a different squad, but I think China's learned their lesson of like, let's try macro play. No. Let's just micro it. Let's get those skirmishes. Let's like duke it out with people because they're not going to expect to fight right now, and we are, and they'll do fine. I think that Royal is a pretty strong team. They definitely can beat CLG. They definitely can take a game potentially off a G2. I don't know about SKT. They can definitely beat Flash Wolves, and our next team to talk about, Supermassive. Supermassive is a team from Turkey. They're the International Wildcard Cup champions. I'm really sad it's not hard random.
I kind of wanted the Chiefs to go. Just
No.
because I wanted to throw a bone to
no.
OCE. I love those
Nope.
guys.
So here's my issue. Oh God, here's two different points.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Tribal. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, Oceanics fans. We're gonna remember your model cannon talking about how Vegemite or whatever tastes like the tiers of Oceanic players.
Yes,
Yeah, we're gonna get to that level right now.
Is it that salty? It seems like a lot.
So here's the problem with some of the wildcard regions, and it's the most true with the Oceanic. Because of where they are, they cannot play on any other server.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this a problem? Anybody know? Anybody have an idea?
Because the average skill of their server is lower than the average skill of other servers?
Because
That-
they play against bad people.
Stagnation?
Fellow
Fact,
bad people.
All of these are correct. Part of
Yeah.
Poor grasp of the international meta. Let's throw that on there.
What about
Well, that actually comes with
internet data
medals.
caps and ping issues?
Nope, not a problem.
Oh, okay.
What
Actually,
about random kangaroo attacks?
That one.
No.
Spiders in the house.
So,
They have a lot of poisonous spiders. over
Also, everything in Australia and the Oceanic region is there to kill you.
Keyboard
there.
spiders.
If anything about cartoons is real, you gotta watch out for Tasmanian devils like going through trees.
Fact.
Those are from
Fact.
Tasmania. Okay, Jesus.
all
Yeah,
right.
but it's only like that much water on a map between the two. They could probably like jump that. The dude could go through a fucking tree. You don't think he could swim that?
I don't
He
know. I
goes,
don't
he's,
think.
he's gone over the top of water.
I don't think
Over
devils can
water,
swim.
yeah.
But please,
Hi.
please continue. You're on a roll. No, we're on a roll. Go.
Part of the issue is that when you look at like say Japan, right? The Japanese league, they can play on Korea and they can play on China.
Mm-hmm.
And they have
They can scrim
way
Korean
fewer
teams,
Tasmanian
they
devils.
can scrim
And spiders.
they can even scrim LMS teams. Turkish team, they can play on EU West and scrim, mid to bottom tier EU LCS teams. Same thing for the Russian side. Same, Brazil can play if they want to. One of the Brazils is actually a decent.
It's in one of the Latin American servers in Florida.
Florida.
Yeah, but the problem with Latin America North and South is that the region just got split. Very similar to GPL and LMS. So right now they're in a restructuring moment of like talent's been split. But the whole point, because Brazil is not part of Latin America North or Latin America South, they have their own server.
Yeah.
Is that all of these other regions can scrim the top tier regions,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have Oceanic that can't do any of that. For example, most of the Oceanic pros have to play on their Platinum Smurf accounts because their queue times are too long in Challenger.
Oh, Jesus.
And basically, the only thing that'll happen is seeing dynamic queue scrims effectively. Like if they were to queue up, they'd just be playing against each other. Like it would just be inbred because they would just only be playing against other Oceanic pros and a few other players. So they have to play plat. Now, as we all know, if we've ever played a sport, playing against people that are worse than you consistently doesn't make you better. It makes you
feel good about yourself.
No,
No, it
that's
doesn't.
what every Challenger Smurf thinks.
Oh.
Captain Hooks, what happens when you only play against people worse than you?
You get bored
up-
and you don't feel great.
I was gonna say
Blake?
you end up fucking your cousin.
I can say you get bored when you
Yeah,
You
don't.
got an inbred cesspool down
It's
there
bo-
that
it's-
just keeps circling.
It's boring. It does not challenge you, and you don't improve.
There we go. So that's my spiel about Oceanic. It's not that like some of these Oceanic players are just as mechanically good as say like a mid-tier LCS teams players are. It's the fact that like as a region, they're very geographically region locked, and so it caps their ability to play well. Which is why like the international wildcard tournament is so good for them because it gives them the ability to play against other regions and grow. Anyway, going to Supermassive, Dumble Doge is probably one of my favorite players at MSI. Dumble Doge plays Elise support. He still plays Tom Kench. He plays Poppy support. This team has been together, if I remember from what Frost told me, like 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, they've been together for a pretty long time.
That's forever in League of Legends time.
Mhm.
For example, during the International Wildcard Tournament, there is a play where Double Doge goes in on Poppy support, and you're just like, what the fuck is this guy doing? But you're also watching the rest of his team just like instantaneously follow him up, and they win a team fight.
That's how you do it, man.
And so there's this thing where you've got the X Factor from Double Doge, the rest of the players are all decent, and then on top of that, they play a very objective focused game, which is not something you would expect from a wildcard region. This doesn't mean that they're going to do better than 6, but it does also mean that they have the potential that if a team doesn't take them very seriously, that like any good team, they know how to snowball a lead, and they can very easily kaboom someone.
I like that that's a thing now.
Kaboom!
Now, to answer Captain Hook's earlier question about how does NA and EU, how does specifically NA do better at events?
Bring in more.
So,
More Koreans.
That's actually probably the
Yes.
way they do worse.
Yeah,
I'm like
absolutely.
a box labeled bananas, so you don't have to register it.
So part of the problem with NA comes from our solo queue culture, where a lot of people just solo queue for fun. But they're not focused on improvement. If you
It doesn't feel fun.
Depends on the game.
if you spam an OP champion, you're just considered a tryhard and a one trick. If you duo with your teammates, why can't you just solo against people? We don't value our solo queue experience. Whereas conversely, as in China and Korea, like they want to be the best. They take solo queue very seriously. Yes, they still have trolls. Yes, they still goof off sometimes, but overall, they do want to win. And this is to say that, not every NA pro wants to win. But have you seen some of the people in the Challenger tier?
Oh yeah, they just don't give a shit.
And the thing is, you have to also take into account the fact that in North
Like,
America, we get that stream money, yo. We make that crazy stream money, and
So your stream has to be entertaining, not...
well, yeah, but I'm saying as a professional player, the money that you make as an LCS pro is like nothing compared to what you're making if you're a popular streamer. You make so much more, and in Korea or in these other smaller regions stuff that get less exposure, and even specifically Korea, you don't make that kind of money. So
That's
international
actually not entirely true. China pays...
well, I was gonna say China treats their League of Legends players like rock stars, though. That's it's a completely, but it's just like some of these other regions. That's how players make money, is by winning tournaments in America, their winning is so low on the, in order to sustain this as a career,
Right.
winning
Yeah,
worlds is just a feather in your cap. As long as you can keep your stream numbers high, he's like, I'll always have a job.
Oh
So
no, see, I don't agree with that because I feel like as a pro, like you're always after the Super Bowl.
I
Or
like
like,
to
why
I-
are you doing it? You know what
I
I
like
mean?
to-
Like,
I
would
agree.
like to agree with you until you look at Dignitas.
I like to think I
No, no,
wish
no.
I
This
agree.
isn't the shit on Dignitas. I like Rasplasm, who was their coach this split. Inner Flame's a really cool guy. Odie's all right, but if you look at that team, they definitely. If you look at that organization, they were like, well, we have a league team. It's gonna make us a shit ton of money because we have an NA league team.
Yeah.
There's a reason not to have EU league teams, and it's because getting sponsorship. You don't have a lot of sponsorship is regional based. That's why if you look at a lot of the team sponsors, they're like companies based in their country.
Yeah.
Whereas like NA, you just Monster, Razer, Astro, DraftKings, whatever. Like fucking, the world is your oyster. But so. I'm not saying that like Doublelift doesn't want to win worlds, but I think Doublelift also wants to stream and make money. I don't think Sneaky doesn't want to win worlds, but I think if you ask Sneaky if like would he rather be playing like scrimming and practicing more or like streaming
And talking about his butthole.
and talking about his butthole, he'd probably want to do that. And I'm not saying that to Sneaky, maybe his stream is his way of practicing.
Yeah, it
No, I
can
watch his
be
stream.
both, but it's not. It's not the quality of practice you would want.
I like to think that American players want to win and their desire to win is strong. But what I'm saying is I think a lot of them also kind of take a realistic approach to things where they're like, as a region, we don't care about winning to the point where we're going to put that kind of time in that the Koreans are almost forced to put into their game.
yeah. Well,
So-
I would say it's like we don't have the like Ash Ketchum mentality
No.
of we want to be the very best.
No.
You know, like,
So,
And
but that's
I
only
think that-
half of it, right? Like,
but I mean, but isn't it okay to like go to the gym all day and play like hardcore basketball and scrim and run your dick off all day and then like go home and like fuck around with your friends and try to make a hook shot?
Yeah,
I mean, isn't that kind of okay at
that's
some
what's
point?
supposed to happen. The
But that's
problem
not-
is the first part
have you
doesn't
heard of
happen.
the NA? Do you know anything about NA scrim culture?
It's bad.
Well, yeah, it's bad. I mean, everybody's like, well, we lost done.
Yeah,
And
they-
then-
Yeah, NA scrim culture, like there'll be a bad level 1 and they'll want to restart the scrim.
right.
Or they'll show up a half hour late.
No, wait, I wasn't ready. Start over.
Or they'll pick
Um,
shit that they think is not at all, or maybe could kind of be viable. Lucian Top.
Oh, well, that's normal.
and
No,
run
no,
it
no, 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 no.
like over and
Actually, so
over.
I know for a fact that Lucian Top was winning them like 75% of their scrims.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what they
Well,
reported. They're
because
like, yeah, we
also
had a-
the other team probably
bad
wasn't taking
rhythm.
it seriously.
Fuck is this?
Yeah, the issue that I've always had with North American scrim culture is that their practice house and their living house are the same place, right? They're practicing and they're jerking off in the same chair.
Oh, that's true for every region.
Yeah, so if you're going to try and treat this like a job, there needs to be an office space. You need to leave the
That's-
house. You have to go to your work.
Cloud9 and Team Liquid and
I was gonna
Sealed
say-
Gate
I was gonna
all
say
have,
Liquid does that, yeah.
offices.
Do they actually have like off locations? They go somewhere?
Yes,
I know.
Cloud9
Okay.
has an office, and so does Team Liquid.
Well,
Sealed
then
Gate
go
does.
team.
Yeah.
And that,
so
but
that's
I agree that
also-
And I
have to
mean,
have that.
to Ryan's point, they've been successful with that model.
Yeah. See? I know what I'm talking about. Did you just
Um,
make that up?
You should
But
coach
that's not
team.
the only
should coach
point
a
that I was
team.
going to bring up. The second point, this is just a personal feeling, is that in other regions, they have a farm system set up. Like the EDG org is actually like 30 players deep
Wow.
between their A roster, their B roster, and their challenger roster, and then players that they want to like farm up. For example, Scout and Blink on SKT started off as farm players. Like they were just brought into the house to get better.
Do they
the same
draw a
thing was for-
salary while they're...
I have no idea, but
Oh.
so Huni
Yeah.
and Rainover
They're
were
required
also,
to subsistence farm.
They actually farm while they
so-
farm.
They have
league.
to grow
Huni and
crops for the
Rainover were
rest of the
also
team.
supposed to do that, by the way. Huni and Rainover had also tried out to be part of the SKT sort of growth
Yeah, I remember.
Pro-
I remember reading about that.
ED, like I said, Royal Never Gives Up has 2 teams, Royal RNG A and RNG B, and I think they also have a challenger side. It's very common in the Asian regions to basically have not necessarily a 10-man roster as people think of it, but have these like, you're not our only AD carry. We've got 5 other guys training their butt off every day for the day we decide to put you on the bench.
Right, and that's what I was saying is that, essentially in Korea, you're always playing for your job. You're never safe. Perfect example is like you were saying earlier when you were talking about SKT, is they've benched Bengi because of poor play. This is a guy who's a 2-time world champion. In America, this guy would have a job every single day on every single team, whoever he wanted to play for, trading off of the fact that he's a world champion. Be like, he's got to be good. He's a world champion. It was like 26 years ago. Who the fuck cares? But
that's part of the issue I have with NA is that not so much that we import, which is fine. I have nothing against import. I'm not gonna ride that dick of fuck imports. That's why our talent.
I think we should import more.
But because let's look at how much better the region got after LMQ's first split.
That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. It challenged the other teams to improve their game.
Sure. I think it's fine in small doses. I think you have the unfiltered, unlocked region like we did in StarCraft 2, and then you have 4 Korean teams in every spot at Worlds. But that's a whole nother. It just got boring. It just got dull for me.
It's not a problem, but I have no hero. There's no Rocky.
Yeah.
It's all like Russian guys.
You lose the nationalism.
Like, wait, who's our American Russian?
In America, the only American mid laner was Shifter.
First of all, it's actually Pobelter right now.
No, now it is. Yeah. It's now, yeah.
But so first of all,
isn't he Canadian?
For those of us who forgot, we're not the United States region. We are the North American region.
Yeah,
I know.
I mean, Huck was Canadian. He was the best.
Rocky was American.
Keith is Canadian. Odd One was Canadian. Same for Maple Street. Like, there are a lot of Canadian pros. That's not the point I was making. The point I'm making is literally the fact that, like, we don't see it as worth our resources to try to do farm.
Yes.
The only org that tried to do it was Liquid, and it actually worked out really well for them. They were like, holy shit, this Dardoch kid's insane. Holy shit, Matt's not just some Blitzcrank one trick. Like, wonder what happens if we put Matt next to Piglet. Holy shit, look, Piglet's unlocked.
Well, be fair,
let's put this Dardoch kid in the jungle. Holy shit, look, Phoenix doesn't look like a shitter anymore.
To be fair, they were replacing I Will Dominate, who couldn't have been any less excited to be playing League professionally, and they replaced Smoothie.
But they bought Smoothie for the language.
Yeah, I know.
Because for those of us who don't know, Piglet refuses to learn English.
It's a good attitude.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing to be on a North American squad.
He wants to get paid in North American dollars, but doesn't want to learn any English.
But
you don't need to read the dollar to spend
I feel like
it,
there's
man.
a Trump joke to be made here.
But that's the point. But see,
Hearthstone
while you guys can make a point, like make a joke out of it, the Liquid 10-man roster did work. It gave them access to a bunch of players.
No, it did, absolutely.
Where they paid for Smoothie, who at the time was a very good support pickup for them. They couldn't pick up Buddy Fufu. He was already on a team. Nobody wanted. They didn't want X Special again. Who were they gonna? Liquid doesn't have any import slots, right?
I don't think Liquid makes bad calls. I don't think anybody would say that.
No.
But it was risky as shit whenever they said that.
What Hooks was saying was that, but they had, like, he replaced Smoothie.
Well, I think,
like, when you look at who was available, Smoothie is the #1 support.
I think
Buddy Fufu is probably the most arguable next best support available to them, other than not knowing that Matt was actually pretty good, and he was the only support that was a free agent. Cloud9 picked up the best support during the off season.
I think though, this is more on the line of what you were talking about is with farming, is we as a region don't value growing younger talent. And that's why we're constantly seeing players like X Special get dropped and come back on a team and get dropped. Yeah, X Special is a fine support. But if I'm starting a team and there's the only support out there is X Special, or I have to roll the dice on some unknown, I'm gonna roll the dice on an unknown because I don't want him again because I know what I'm getting out of him. And this is, listen, you can turn this on around and you can flip my entire argument on my face and say this is exactly what I said about Immortals, and I was a wrong asshole on that regard, where I said, I know what Wild Turtle is. I know what I'm getting out of Wild Turtle. I know what Pobelter is.
Oh man, I'm ready for this conversation. I can switch gears.
I'm just saying, no, that's fine. But what I'm saying is though, as a region, North America tends to just recycle players instead of really trying to cultivate younger players and bring them in and make them better. We put them on a team. The team does shit. That player didn't stand out. His career's over.
Well, but I think we're just figuring out as a region, as to bring us back to what Reggie said to start this whole conversation, is that teams are just now figuring out that the team is greater than the sum of their parts. So that being said, the miscellaneous X factor that you add up all the parts plus X, the X is bigger. People are figuring that out. And that's how you get the X to grow is through cultivation. And we're not doing that.
No. And only now is their region just thinking about that kind of stuff.
People have been telling them to do it for the last 3 years.
Yeah, which is sad that it's like, not a single team owner was like, you know what I need to do? I want to take this. I seen this kid playing. He's 16 years old. You know what? Let's bring him in and let him learn, do the reckless effect. Let him learn the game.
But so here's the problem. Like, let's look at an org that's kind of like that, right? Cloud9. Cloud9 stopped Season 3, did pretty poorly at Worlds, and then people were like, oh, are they going to replace somebody? And Cloud9 was like, nope. And then they stomped Spring Split. It was a little rocky at the start, but then they inked their way through. People said, oh, that wasn't a super strong showing. Maybe now's the time to replace someone. They were like, nope, we're good. Did the only split they lost was season, then they lost season summer to a very good last minute play by Dyrus to sort of wear out Balls' TP flank with home guards.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, oh man, now's the time Cloud9's gonna drop somebody. And in actuality, that is what happened. They did get Incarnation, but like we as a region just expect that like once a team doesn't do this like tippy top best, that it's time to get rid of someone.
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's a poor way of thinking.
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
Especially considering how young the Cloud9 roster is, with the exception of Lemon. Like, that entire roster is a bunch of fairly young people.
Well, I think we should go the opposite direction. Each organization should adopt 5 children and just raise them.
Actual kids.
Raise them up.
You guys should be careful. It sounds like you're describing franchising. Ooh.
Oh, God.
Don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
So the esport fans who don't understand traditional sports don't understand the importance of franchising, because one of the other reasons that NA has never really been interested in trying to build up their org is that there's the ever-present fear of relegation.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we've gone ad nauseum about how the setup of the LCS and all of that nonsense, it's just such a bad system when you really look at...
I think you shouldn't be able to get relegated until the end of the year, which is how it works in every sport.
Exactly.
I don't think that a spring split of 18 games determines...
the rest of your org's future?
Yeah. I don't think that that's very fair.
Dignitas is, aren't they disbanding their LoL team now? No?
So the rumor is...
There's no news.
The rumor is that Apex is potentially buying their challenger spot.
Their spot or their team?
Spot.
Spot. Okay. So then Dignitas would effectively liquidate their team.
And then what will happen is that there's a chance that and then they'll probably try to buy into the challenger scene, or they'll take what I've heard is that they'll take the season off. So they won't do anything because they can't buy an LCS spot yet because of how that rule works. They'll just take off the rest of season 6, and then season 7, they'll buy some low tier, spot.
Right.
Whoever tip is at the start of season 7.
Yeah. So this one bad split kind of ended Dignitas's low team. Right?
I wouldn't go so far as one bad split. I think that team's been very poorly managed for quite so many splits.
But they've been that middle of the road.
They've been mediocre forever.
That 6th place team for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think franchising would have saved Dignitas. I think franchising would have hurt it, or like Dignitas, where they would just excel at mediocrity.
Well, that's gonna happen with franchising. That there's always gonna be teams that are middle of the pack. Right, not everyone wants to reach out.
I would never call Dignitas a middle of the pack team.
Okay, lower middle of the pack. Lower middle class. Okay, lower class.
Dignitas is on Medicaid at the moment.
Bottom of the barrel? Underneath?
Bottom of the barrel.
Underneath?
Dignitas is on LCS food stamps.
Underneath the barrel?
Underneath the barrel. I think they're underneath the barrel.
Yeah, they had Kiwi Kid and Shifter.
Not even near the barrel?
Dignitas is telling their children to buy food right now.
Okay, I'll play a fun game.
Okay.
Not Shifter and Kiwi Kid.
Okay.
Name the other 3 people on Dignitas. Summer 2015.
Gamsu and who was their ADC? It was
is that
another Korean kid.
Core JJ.
Core JJ.
Who is their jungler?
Yeah, it was Core JJ.
It was what was it? It wasn't Crumbs anymore, was it? He was already gone.
No, Crumbs had left. Well, Crumbs started the season and he left.
And then it wasn't Kyrie yet, who was last season.
Hold on.
God, who cares?
Exactly.
Cruiser the Bruiser.
Cruiser the Bruiser. No, he was a human thumb. He was a top laner, wasn't he? Right?
Yes, he was a top laner.
So the sort of mean point I'm making is that you would I guarantee you could name everybody who was on TSM last split.
Well, last split's easy. Split before last.
Bjergsen and Co.
Yeah, Bjergsen and company. Bjergsen and the Lollers.
So the point I'm making is that Dignitas is an unimpressionable team.
Yes.
You've got Kiwi Kid, and then you've got Shifter, who's way past his prime.
He's 22 years old.
Did Shifter ever have a prime?
Shifter for a minute, Shifter was filthy for a minute.
The meme of that Coast roster was the Shifter Zion Spartan show. If Shifter and Zion Spartan got a little ahead, I'm not even talking a 2K gold lead. I'm talking 1.5, maybe even 0.5 gold lead. They would just take over games.
Man, we need to build a team with Shifter and Zion.
The problem is that the rest of that team was
buns.
bronze 5.
You had didn't you have ManCloud? ManCloud was on that squad.
Nope.
No?
No.
I'm gonna look this up for you. This is
God, how long ago was this?
This is Don't Mash Me.
MASH.
Yeah.
And Bloodwater.
See, MASH and Bloodwater were pretty sick though.
What MASH and Bloodwater are you remembering?
The ones that got me some decent fantasy points. And
Bloodwater was on Coast? No, Bloodwater was on Vulcan.
Oh, right. The other shitter team.
Yes.
The other shitter team. XDG.
We're going to change our name so people can chant it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because Vulcan's so hard to chant.
So the roster was MASH, Shifter.
MASH had moments.
Nintendude X.
Nintendude,
well.
I hate. He's that guy that everyone on Reddit wants to talk about. Yo, Nintendude, when is he coming back? Never. Who cares? He was bad.
And their support. I'm looking at a bunch of support names to see which one
throw it out at me.
Might have been Sheep. I think it was Sheep.
They brought Sheep. They brought Sheep in later in the later seasons. The team you're talking about didn't have Sheep. Give me a couple other names.
Daydreaming. Yeah.
Daydreaming.
Yeah, I
See,
remember
I
now.
knew it. I was gonna say it's definitely not Sheep because Sheep was the last incarnation.
Okay, so you're right. It's definitely the Shifter Zion show.
By the way, I wasn't wrong. Bloodwater was on Coast at one point. Suck it, both of them.
I thought he was like a coach for them though, because I thought after he left Vulcan, when they kicked him off for who the hell knows why, he just was like
Check the diddly do.
Team Coast.
Anyways, what were we talking about?
We were
Oh,
talking
mediocre
about-
teams, less than
Ameri-
mediocre teams, and their effect on franchising.
I think so. I'm not saying that makes franchising worse. I'm just saying that like, man, do some teams just not become more? Holy shit, I was wrong. It was Daydreaming, Shifter, Science Spartan, Wish Fusion.
I was gonna say Wiz Fusion. I thought was their AD carry
Yeah.
too.
Ooh, man, Wish Fusion. Let's talk about some LCS caliber players.
Didn't he have like one decent split?
Oh,
A couple decent. I feel like he had a couple decent games in one split. It was right after he changed his name.
Apollo.
To
Apollo.
Right.
yeah.
By the
Wiz,
way,
Wiz
he
Fusion,
actually
right?
like. I don't know why he ever went with Wiz Fusion with a name like
And
Apollo.
that's his
Price.
real name.
That's literally
Yeah, that's
what
his
the
real
that was
fucking name.
that
Yeah.
was the conversation that was had of when he changed his name. He's like, I'm changing my name to Apollo because my name is Apollo. Why would you ever call yourself Wiz Fusion? That is the
Yeah, why
stupidest,
would you do
worst
that?
name ever.
Your name
That's
is like, wasn't
That's
it
like
like
Science
Apollo
Spartan and
Creed
Darshan, though.
too? Like it was like
Yeah.
Apollo Creed.
It's
Like,
like-
it sounds so awesome.
It-
Like I'm imagining a guy with like a full suit, like super pinstripe, looks like a pimp, has like daggers in his sleeve. That's
Whoa.
what I'm imagining.
You're imagining
That's
an
the guy
anime
you wanna-
character.
No, I'm imagining like a guy from the South that's like, you know, maybe looks a little
That doesn't
crooked,
allow
but
you
he-
in their bathrooms.
Yeah. But like, he seems really sweet, like a Matthew McConaughey kind of guy where you want to hang out with him. Then he throws knives out of his sleeve, and you're like, why did you have that there?
All I throw is pocket sand. Pocket sand.
Like,
I think that's how most
But
of the
yeah,
South
no,
is
to get
actually.
back to get back to
like
the
a
point
mix of Matthew
the-
McConaughey and Dale Gribble is kind of how I'm
God.
imagining.
A guy
To get-
named Apollo.
Yeah, Apollo Price. Yeah,
Go-
that's you have to whole
I
package.
think to get back to the franchising thing, I think franchising will make. I think the correct move to get NA on the right track is franchising. It's going to allow teams to make more aggressive, more risky roster choices.
Absolutely.
Sure, there are going to be some teams that are going to try to do the plug and play super roster because, let's be honest, it's super appealing to have the super roster.
That
'Cause it
always
always-
succeeds.
Because it always wins.
I mean, look
Doesn't
at
it?
Korea. Longju did pretty poorly with their Superman 10 roster, and the same Jin Air was the only team with a 10-man roster, but Jin Air didn't even play 10 people. They played maybe 7.
Yeah.
The other 3 pretty much rode the bench for most of the split. But
Well, I
like,
mean, then again, you can also look at Samsung when they won the Worlds, and they had 2 teams that were totally defunct, changed and swapped a few of the players, and then all of a sudden, everything clicks. World-class teams.
so yeah, what happened was that you used to be for people listening who don't know that far back in League's history, Korea used
You
to have
kids.
you used to have a bunch of sister teams. So you would have like a Zubu Frost and a Zubu Blaze. You had SKTK and SKTS. You had Samsung White and Samsung Blue. And what happened was Samsung White
The Jin Air Green,
Samsung
the Jin Air
Blue.
Falcons and the Jin Air
Green Wings.
Green Wings.
Green Wings.
Arrows and bullets.
Arrows and
KT,
bullets.
KT Arrows, KT Bullets.
So what ended up happening with the Samsung org is that they had 2 teams that were both aggressively mediocre, and they made a few player swaps where they, sent some guys to blue, sent some guys to white, and then bam, you got 2 of the most like dominant Korean teams in a while. So for those of you who didn't know what the hell happened in season 4, and then Riot said no more sister teams.
Yeah.
And
I
then
was on
that's where
the,
the great Korean exodus happened.
Yeah.
I was on the KT Small Throwing Rocks. We were not really a hype team.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We're on Samsung Paisley.
Samsung Chartreuse.
Yeah.
Samsung Plaid.
Charger.
Samsung Puce.
But yeah, so my short answer is that franchising will probably make NA a stronger region, just not until like season 8.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
if
we're
there is a
lucky,
season 8,
if we're lucky, when season 8 rolls around, somebody figures out franchising.
maybe we'll have League of Legends 2 by then.
We'll just be getting the new client.
I think that's the problem, is that NA's too afraid of losing the money that is the LCS.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So there's no reason to risk that money. So why not just make a team that can stay, like Dignitas? Why not just have a team that just stays 7th?
Yeah.
And the thing, and the problem is, and we've said this a million times, is then you just keep getting the situation of the challenger cash grab, where you have the team that buys its way into the challenger scene, they win, and then they just sell their spot.
Apex.
Exactly.
Oh, by the way, I will bet any of you $50 that Apex sells their slot.
Oh, sure they will. Aren't they partial? Like, isn't there Coast money in that team?
Yeah.
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 It's Coast notorious fucking.
You might as well put a sold sign on it.
Yeah, right. I love the fact that Coast was
Under contract is
Yeah.
like what it says, right? Whenever they like held the trophy.
I love the fact that Coast was like taking digs at, like, when they sold their spot, and they're like, oh, we were under the impression that all of our players were going to get a chance to. Shut up. First of all of your players. You sold that spot the moment you bought that spot. You were looking for a buyer when you were just looking to flip it like a house. So it's like, oh, we thought that they were all going to be signed. I didn't know they were going to not take any of our all-stars. I thought Chris was going to the LCS.
Oh, no. That's unfair. Chris actually deserves to be in the LCS.
Oh, no, I'm not saying he doesn't, but what I'm saying is Chris is forever the gatekeeper into the LCS. When you play, Chris is either going to be on the team that wins and gets sold, or be the team you have to beat to get into the LCS and then have your spot sold.
Yeah.
Chris is
They
the
just need to
LCS
make it-
gatekeeper.
They need to
I
make a
want a
team with like
gatekeeper team
Chris,
that's
Alex
like Mad
Leach,
Clown.
and like who's
Fabby.
the ADC?
Fabby.
Fabby.
Fabby's the original-
No.
the original
That was a
gatekeeper.
solo queue. I'm talking about Odd Life's little brother. Shit.
Maple Street.
Oh, Maple Street.
Thank you. Yeah, Maple Street needs to be on there. I think he's gotten into the LCS
Trans
more than
therapy.
anybody.
Trans
He just
has
doesn't
been on
stay
a lot
there.
of teams. Has been on a lot of gatekeeper teams.
Maybe we can get Prawley to come out of coaching retirement, get him on a team.
Can we
He
get
was-
Prawley and Bubba Dub together? Put them on
Yeah.
one team?
Yo, I met Bubba Dub at SummersCon. Great moment.
Was his mustache super creepy?
the rapiest mustache I've ever seen on a human being?
I don't think it's super rapey.
Oh, listen,
Oh,
listen.
it's
love a
creepy.
I love a good rapey mustache. And his makes the cake every time.
Just-
I'll have to tell you, if I was inclined to grow a mustache, I'd want a Bubba Dub mustache.
Oh no, you can do better than that.
His mustache
Always
looks
strive
fake.
for more than a Bubba Dub mustache.
His mustache looks like it's one of those ones that you stick on.
It's like a.
Like Bubba Dub wakes up in the morning, combs his
It's
rapey
definitely
hair,
not Bubba Dub mustache.
puts on his rapey clothes, and then it sticks on his rapey mustache and
Goes to
coaches.
work in his van.
Yeah.
I think you should. Who's the guy that was
I
on
promise you,
the
it
Big
looks better in
Lebowski,
person.
the cowboy? That was like
Burt
drinking
Reynolds?
a sarsaparilla. No, he was drinking a sarsaparilla on the Big Lebowski, and he's like,
Oh.
"Whatever you mean, dude."
Oh, that's
And he always plays the Western guy,
Oh,
and he
yeah.
has a hugely kick-ass mustache, like
Sam, not Sam Neill.
Is it Sam Elliott? Is that what
No,
his
maybe it
name
is Sam Neill actually. Maybe wait,
But-
or is that the guy from? No, that's from Jurassic Park. You might be right with Elliot. Sam Elliott, you're right.
That's the
Okay.
mustache
Are
you
we
want to
done?
have.
Are we done beating?
That's
NA
the
to
mustache
death?
you want.
Yeah,
NA,
We're good.
Are we done beating NA to death?
that's what we do every show.
That's
It's the
what-
best.
Do we have a topic past this point?
This was actually kind of in it. If you wanted to give us your real quick rankings for MSI, just so that we can kind of put a cap on this conversation.
SKT G2 SKT G2 Flash Wolves, and then a toss up between RNG and CLG.
Wow,
Really
you put
depends.
RNG that low, huh?
I'm on the Flash Wolves hype train.
I see.
There are people who are not. I can be sold. So, like, here's the problem. You've got SKT and G2, and then somewhere between RNG, Flash Wolves, and CLG, you will get third and fourth.
Gotcha.
And it's really hard to predict how the other three teams are going to play against each other because, oh, wait, we don't have an international scene.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want one.
So
right?
I'm just,
That's what-
like,
that's what
jerking
Riot's
off
telling
into
us.
the air right now about, like, who I think is going to do better.
There you go.
There's, like, no real analysis I can really put into it because
It's all a crapshoot.
it's all a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that Detonation Focus Me which is the Japanese side, was going to just like run through the international wildcard tournament. And I remember that the Japan League is actually pretty garbage, and so it's really easy for one team to look super dominant and then play internationally and then just get raffle.
Well, that's like a professional bronze scene.
There's got some people. They've got some decent Koreans. They've got some people who are like pretty high tier Korean challenger players from their Japanese players. I think it's because the league is literally a season old.
Yeah, they haven't found their.
So what you're saying is we take the 4 of us, we get one more guy, we all move to Japan, start a professional league team.
And we lose.
No.
No, but we do it big, like
chin up there.
The Rollster Throwing Rocks is open.
We do it big like professional
Rollster
wrestling.
Throwing
That's what we've always said, that what League of Legends needs in the professional scene is it to be more like professional wrestling, where there's not enough high drama like interviews where people are calling each other out.
Korea.
I need some,
We need more 30-something fathers. In the league.
I would
Definitely.
realize that Korea shit talks each other all the time.
Can I be Shawn Michaels in this WWE?
No.
I can't be the Heartbreak Kid.
No. Not even close.
No.
Can I be?
You're like Gold Dust.
Aww. Come on.
Speaking of rape,
Come on. That's rough, man. That's way harsh, Ty.
But you get to wear a black and gold unitard.
Yeah,
and then Captain Hook gets to be Rikishi. It's fine.
Hey, I'm not Polynesian.
I like how you went to the other side of that comment.
I know where you were going.
There are very few left
full
that I wouldn't
circle.
mind to be, actually, now that you've knocked out the worst couple.
Me, Bret the Hitman Hart.
Be the guy who, like,
I was
holds
just
a
going to say you're
log.
the Dudley brother that
I can't
everybody
remember that guy.
forgets exists.
Dudley.
Spike.
What about Big Show? Who gets to be Big Show?
You know,
Obvious.
well, as being called the fat one, I would assume I'm the Big Show.
Well, that's why I called you Rikishi, fam.
Oh, I don't want to wear the big thong thing.
the
Fine,
diaper?
you could be. You know what?
It's too much butt exposure.
I kind of
could
thought
be
you'd be
Yoko-
Andre
what is
the
it,
Giant because we predicted that you would die early.
Oh,
You could
God.
be Yokozuna.
I'm not Asian at all.
But you can butt splat people.
But
that
again-
is actually a Captain Hook's move.
Yeah, I do sit
I mean,
on
that is-
people. I've been known to
Okay.
jump on people's chests before.
On that note, I think it's time to wrap it up, guys.
Sweet.
You think so?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to thank you both for being on our show, our very special episode 52.
1 year ago today, within a few days,
Year-ish.
year-ish in our 1 year-ish show. 1 year ago-ish today, we did this and it wasn't funny.
Yeah.
I think
And
the
look,
name was
and
pretty
look,
funny.
and look, I was gonna say so little has changed.
Now it's funny in an ironic way.
Now it's,
Oh,
no,
I
now it's-
thought I brought. I
no, I
thought
was gonna say now it's funny because we brought other people in. We've learned our lesson that
In A style, you imported Korean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
you guys are our Koreans.
Oh God, we're like the bomb of the barrel Koreans, though.
Are
It's like
you-
picking up poor JJ and Helios.
Yeah,
Helios.
I was gonna say
That was
Gamsu.
him.
Helios.
That was him. I knew.
And we're back.
I knew it was a Korean.
All of my comedy is based around bringing things full circle.
There you go. I appreciate that. But thank you guys again. It was awesome having you on. Obviously, you are now part of the Tower Dive legend, lore, and family. You are always welcome on our show whenever you want to come on. If you feel the need to swear about things that you didn't get to swear about,
I could have a podcast that I can be unprofessional on.
your
Yes,
show,
it's
please,
the best.
please. It's when as soon as we had that light go off in our head that, hey, wait a minute. We're bad at being professional, so let's just stop. Then that was when the show really kind of got a leg. I'm not gonna say legs because that requires running, and it just we're like a two-legged dog, but both the legs are on the same side.
Just spins in circles.
Just spins in circles.
The other half is like those wheelchairs.
But they're the wrong size wheels, and it's just awkward, and it just moves funny. But again, it's a year. I can't believe we've been doing this for a year. God damn. Thank you guys for I'm speaking to the public.
Oh,
Thanks,
okay.
guys, for watching. Thank you guys for being on. It was rad to have you. I wish we could have had more of everybody on, but then that would have gotten weird and loud and you know.
Yeah. Do you guys want to plug your show?
Yeah, please. You've got your 30 seconds each. Do it.
Papa Smith, go.
Oh, I go first. Okay, cool.
Please.
I'm a member of League of Legends Anonymous. We're a podcast that's mostly devoted to like self-improvement, how to climb from bronze to silver, silver to gold, gold to plat. And then after that, you can figure it out because, you know, you've probably done that already. So the kind of the things that you should expect from our show is, you know, a lot of unprofessional and light-natured comedy, which is good. And then, you know, we also work on the concept of like every show we try to bring you a 60-second tip that's something mechanical in the game that maybe you didn't know about and maybe now you do. Get a little bit better.
Nice.
So I mean, we've got that website, which is www.lolapodcast.com. You can check us out there, Stitcher, iTunes, all that jazz. And hit us up on Twitter and whatnot. So, yeah. Oh, our YouTube channel has videos of some of the 60-second tips. So if you want to check those out, you know, we could use a plug for that. So that'd be great.
Nice. You guys can check me out at soundcloud.com/the Analyst Desk, where I have two podcasts that happen semi-regularly. The Analyst Desk, which is a show where I have reporters, analysts, players, coaches, celebrities, and we discuss topics in competitive League of Legends. I also do another podcast called The Stack Deck, which is a esports interview podcast where I interview people in League of Legends, people from right now it's been pretty league focused because there's some episodes in the backlog, but interviewing people who are important in esports and the communities that people play. Like we've had TB Skyron, we did Bryce Blum, the esports attorney. So yeah, and you can find me on Twitter at Sage Gnosis. Gnosis is spelled Gnosis because you Americans are really bad at spelling. And you can find my shows on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Actually, no. More Americans are unable to spell Gnosis than my European counterparts.
I believe it.
Because it's a Greek word.
I believe it.
I love gyros. That's my Greek for the day. I don't call them gyros.
5 points to anybody who knows what Gnosis means.
It's a mythology thing, right? It's I feel like I read it in a Percy
Someone
Jackson
just
book.
looked it up. I can tell by the look on Captain Hook's face that he just Googled it.
I interneted the shit out of that. That's what the age that we live in.
So what does Gnosis mean?
It is a common Greek noun for knowledge.
Oh,
I
well,
see.
it wasn't a Percy Jackson thing.
In Christian, Islamic, or Jewish mysticism, mystery religions, and Oh, it's like being agnostic.
Yeah. And I got it from the movie Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Love it. Is it a movie? I thought it was just a show.
Yes, it's a movie.
No, they made it a movie.
I didn't know they made it a movie. That's
It was
exciting.
a movie and then a play.
Yeah, I was gonna say they actually did the stage show. After.
I thought it was a play and then another play.
Nope.
Anyways.
Movie, play, movie.
Anyways.
All right. Onward.
That's
Thanks for coming
the
out,
show.
guys.
We did it. Thank you guys again. As always, I of course am the Centurion, Captain Hooks.
Mm. Oh, do I got to come up with my own?
I was gonna
God,
give it.
you
I was
make me
gonna
do
give.
all the
I was
work.
gonna give it to you.
You
but
paused.
I didn't know if you were gonna jump in because
I got nothing.
You step on me.
Admiral?
No, he's Admiral. If anything, he's friggin' deckhand.
The CEO of Counterlogic Gaming.
Poop
and he of course is the CEO of Counterlogic Gaming, Hotshot GG, Pan the Man. I gave myself Centurion because I was like going with the 100th
I got
episode
it.
thing, but
I
we
got
only
it.
have 52 episodes. But I wanted to.
Yeah, they don't really have a good term for that one.
There's no real word for that. So yeah. So from all of us, a little of him and most of me. Thank you guys again. Stick around for another year, and we will see you on the Rift.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
Tower Dive is myself, Ryan Adams, and my co-host Robert Gersey. You can find more of us at youtube.com/towerdive or wherever you find podcasts. Twitter @TowerDivePC.